What up, guys? We are live.
Hey,
I don't know why I did that gay little thing at the end.
I like it.
But yeah, another Monday night panel. We got the boys back in town. Got Lloyd, got Austen, Summer, and Marcus Wolf.
What's
Donald
up?
Trump's son.
What is
Shit.
Sorry, I'm gonna put
on?
my phone on freaking silent because people be buzzing
It's
away.
just too popular. Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel ya.
Austin, you're kind of like lagging and freezing. Wave your hand.
Yeah, he's got the great facial expression right now. Let's just keep it right there.
Yeah, just keep
Bro,
freezing.
I thought he was just thinking really hard.
Yeah. Do the Trump thing where he's like jerking off two guys at once. That
The Trump dance.
Bro.
it's
what
so
a
weird. It
bro.
literally looks like he's jerking off two guys.
He
He's like,
really is. He's loving it.
yeah. And he always plays the fucking YMCA song. That's fascinating too.
Yeah.
I think
He's
they just do the
secretly gay.
catchiest tunes they can think of for the rallies.
Yeah.
Something everybody can sing along to.
If you say so.
Unless you go to Kamala Harris.
What he's trying to do,
rally
he's trying to give
Beyonce.
young men hope. He doesn't want there to be the brain drain like there was in the UK, you know?
What's the brain drain?
The brain drain is a concept.
A
that
lot
happens
of
in countries
the
where all
very
smartest
smart-
people leave.
Okay.
It happened, for example, to New Zealand.
What happened? I
It's
couldn't hear
when
you
the
guys were talking
smartest
over each
people of
other.
a country leave that country and go somewhere else. So, like, all the smart people in New Zealand left and went to like Australia or America.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Or the USSR.
You know, I thought brain drain was just how, like, you know, a lot of young men are feeling disenfranchised coming up, like the stuff that's, you know, Scott Galloway talks about. I mean, I talk about it on my channel too, but a lot of people, some people are starting to talk about it now. Before it was zero. Now we have like two, Chris Williamson and Scott Galloway.
What is it? Say that again.
And then just how, like, people are finally talking about men's issues. You know, when we were coming up, it was all about feminism. It was all about, you know, women have it really rough. And now people are waking up to realize that, hey, men are having issues too. And they're focusing purely on men in these regards, you know, whereas with feminism, you know, they're focusing on women's issues. But now we're talking about the issues that young men are having, you know, the fact that 4 times as many men kill themselves as women do, the fact that less men are graduating college in record numbers. If you look at the colleges in the 1970s, the amount of men that were graduating at the time is less than the amount of women versus men. So it's like reverse. So now we have way more women graduating college and getting degrees than men are. And actually, women are there are more paying jobs that women are taking up than men are in today's society as well too. And in addition to that, women
there's
are
actually becoming
out-earning men a lot. Yeah.
There's
You know
a
what's-
there's a
Go
pay
ahead.
gap now the other way around. That younger women are earning
Yeah.
more than younger men.
There was
Yep.
actually
Yep.
there hasn't been a like I've dived into the studies on this. There hasn't actually been a pay gap for a very long time. With the number that's often cited, which is like 87 cents for the dollar, is basically where they look at all of men and all of women in the workforce. But when they look at men and women working the same exact job with the same exact experience, they get paid the same amount of money. It's just this.
Well,
weird-
yeah,
that's-
I agree. There was like a
that's for
slight
sure.
gap, but the gap is going
It
the
was
other
like
way
it was like
now,
1
where-
cent or something.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
It
but
wasn't
women-
much. I think it was like 3 to 5%. Yeah.
Yeah, but on
I think it was
average
actually
now,
like 1% from what I remember.
Oh, it was less? Okay. Yeah.
It was
I
really
just saw a
small.
different number. Yeah. So
but
I
also
thought that's
there were
what
more men
we
in
were talking
higher
about
paying
with brain
jobs. It's kind of reversing now. So the gap is talking about like job for job. So if you're both engineers, like how much do you earn? But also looking at the average man, how much you earn or what type of job he's in now. Yeah, women are just getting into higher paid jobs at the moment because they're more than just graduating uni.
You know what's a fun fact about
Yeah,
suicide?
yeah.
That just as many women try to commit suicide as men. Men are just
They
a
just
lot
suck.
better at it. Yeah.
Can't even kill themselves
Yeah, they
properly. Shit, you try to
they
kill yourself
commit
like
through
a
violent
pussy.
ways.
All right, that's
Yeah,
why.
most
Dude,
women-
imagine being so pathetic you couldn't even kill yourself properly.
If I'm gonna kill myself, I'll do it properly. All right, I'll finish the fucking job. All right, these fucking girls don't even know what they're doing.
You walk in and you see your girlfriend, she's got a knife and she has like a little
You're
peanut
like,
cut, and
let
you're
me
like, let me
show
show
you
you
how
how
to
it's
do
done, bitch. Cha!
She's like, stop mansplaining how to kill myself, okay? Yeah.
I'm doing.
Fucking
It hurts.
sexism.
Let me just do a little bit more. Ah, I got a boo boo, babe.
True.
Do you think some women, I think, they usually use like pills or something like that. Do you think they're just like, I think some of them are just like using it for attention or something like that. What do you think?
No, there might be some girls, I agree. There's probably some girls out there that make a post that is like, it's a cry for attention. But really, I hate the word attention. It's a cry for help, right? Because these people are not very mentally stable. They're still probably super depressed. When I think of attention, it's usually this negative stereotype of some girl on Instagram with her tits out. I think there might be some women that have, So I would call like a cry for help, where there might be like half attempts, or they kind of mean it but don't mean it. But I used to work in a hospital. There's a lot of people that do pills and they're trying to fucking kill themselves, but then they get really sick. Their family kind of finds out, brings them to the hospital, and then we're able to help them out there.
Pump or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Nothing wakes you up to how crucial life is as a near-death experience. Like nothing kind of wakes you up as like actually coming close to death. And in those moments, I've had a few near-death experiences in my life, and those moments you just like truly start to appreciate life.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't know how true this is, but I've heard apparently most people that try to kill themselves, like jump off a bridge, for example, regret that decision almost immediately. And so the ones that survive, like when they ask them about it, they're like, yeah, I regret it as soon as I jumped off, which is a fucking scary thought for everyone that didn't.
Yeah, because you go into survival mode. Like your logical brain and all your thoughts and worries just disappear. You're in survival mode. Your primitive brain takes over.
Bro, you got a fan here, right? You have to stay.
Unfortunately, I have a group call at the hour, so I won't be able to stay for that long. I wish we could do these.
Doesn't Lloyd have nice
I'll try and reschedule it. What's up?
Doesn't Lloyd have nice teeth? Like, look at his fucking teeth. They're like pearly whites.
I have a gap
got,
here.
like hazel eyes and shit.
What do you know?
Gives you character.
Just do Invisalign, bro.
Putting bleach and
I had that, and that's how the gap started actually, because I got into a fight and when my tooth got knocked out, and then the dentist shaved the tooth down when I was like getting a new one. This is a fake tooth when I was getting it replaced, and so that's what caused the gap. So I have to get Invisalign again to get it taken care of. So I'll get it again, but it'll take a little bit of time.
I'm actually
but anyways, do you guys want to talk about male issues, or do you guys want to talk about like the Scott Galloway stuff that I was talking about earlier? Like, I think that's a great topic. What do you guys think?
We can.
Okay, cool.
What's Scott Galloway?
So what do you guys think about? You can look him up, but he's a guy who talks about like male issues, and he talks about the rise of sexlessness in men. You know, like 30% of men are like virgins up until the age of 30. Like basically it's becoming very clear, it's just my opinion, that women are becoming less attracted to men as time goes on, and it's getting worse and worse. And I think it's
is it women becoming less attracted to men, or is it men becoming less attractive?
I think both.
It's both. It's both of those things.
I do not believe that women are becoming less attracted to men.
I think what you could say is women have less of a need to be attracted to men. Like, maybe attraction is the wrong word, but like if you think about a woman like 50, 100, whatever years ago, I think there was more of a need of, okay, I need someone to like fucking have a job here to actually sustain something. I need a house. There's a lot of social pressure. I need to get married. Whereas now I think it's like super socially acceptable. Get a job, get a career. Don't worry about a guy. Don't even need to have kids. So I agree. Like, the attraction is probably like the same, but like the need for it or the want for it is probably changed as well, I think.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be attraction. Attraction is subconscious.
Yeah, maybe it's the wrong word. Yeah.
Like for sure, women have less of a need to date men or settle down with men nowadays, but I don't think that affects their attraction. That's all emotional.
I'm just curious, Lloyd, you're talking about this as if this is like a revelation, like this hasn't been talked about. I feel like this has been talked about for decades now. There's been like
it's been talked about by a lot of people, but not so much in the wait, who's talking?
Sorry, are you measuring like what's talked about as in what the normies are talking about, or are you saying like just that experts are talking about, or what are you talking about? Like the stuff
mainstream
with, like,
has not talked about
more
this.
Men in college. That's been known for like 15 years and talked about.
Now more women are in college.
I've seen an interview. I've seen an interview with this Scott guy, actually. I didn't recognize his name, but I just pulled up his face. I think the point Lloyd might be getting to is, more of that mainstream angle, more of the expert angle. It feels like there's just more of an awareness about it now, or it's more socially acceptable to talk about. I think for a long time, this would have been seen as sexist. Like, you're worried about fucking men's issues right now? Really? Like, what the fuck? Whereas I think people are coming to realize, like, actually, there is a lot of issues that are happening right now, not only in society, but in like dating, and we see it. So I think it's becoming more and more prevalent.
So what are the issues, Lloyd? Walk us through it.
Well, the increased risk of suicide, but by death, men are committing suicide 4 times as much as women are.
The problem is men are just too good at shit, like they're too good at committing suicide. If we could be more like fucking, like ineffective like women, be okay.
And every time I do this, I'm going to compare it to women because that illustrates a gap or a difference between the two. And not every gap is negative towards women. There's a lot of gaps that are negative towards men that they just don't get as much press. So there's a suicide. There's the thing that Marcus brought up where more women are earning more money than men. More of the paying jobs are being occupied by women now than men are. More women are graduating college than men are. More women are having sex than men are. You look at the 30% of virgins up until the age of 30. That's half for women, I think, somewhere around there. More women are getting into relationships, and granted, they're dating older, or maybe they're dating the same guy, or whatever it is.
Wait,
but
did you say 30%
more men are single than women are
until they're 30? Did I hear that correctly?
More
some of these
men
stats
are
are going to
virgins
be
until they're 30 than women are.
Yeah, but the number of virgins that are 28, 29 years old is still relatively small. It's like we're talking like 1 or 2%. Like, it is a small percentage.
I don't think it's 1 or 2%. I think it's a lot higher.
It is relatively small. Like some of the problem is some of these data is warped, right? Like, there's a lot of people trying to put across a message in terms of like the manosphere type shit, and some of these data is warped. Like, the amount of sex men and women are having going to be pretty equal. Some of the stats, though, women are going to date older. So if you look at ages, they're going to date older men, and they're probably going to have sex a little bit earlier. So if you look at ages, you can kind of skew the data a little bit. You just need to be careful.
I got some data here that I just looked up. So we're both sort of right. So when you go men under 30, including all age groups, that number is about 8%. But when you go like 25 to 30, for example, that number drops to 1.9%. So it's just that
1.9%.
Yeah, it's just that men are having sex later than they used to. That's why that number is artificially being skewed. Like, back in the day, most men had sex by the time they were 17, 18 because they were getting married. Now, a lot of men don't lose their virginity until like 20, 21. But when you go to like over 25, that number drops. Just 25 to 30 is like 1.9%. This is like
okay, so maybe it's not as bad as what I was saying. I think with the below 25, though, it's around okay, it's I think I haven't had sex in the last year. I think I'll bring up some data for the next time we talk, so I'm a little bit more prepared about this. But then there's that, and then more men are single, and so I think just if you look at a lot of the data with dating apps and everything, obviously men don't get as many matches. It's just highlighting differences between men and women and the challenges that they have to deal with. And so sometimes people talk about men's issues as being a thing that like people are focusing on, because obviously men are struggling. It affects all of society. And so those are a few of the issues that they tend to bring up, more or less. The struggles with the dating, financial struggles, those kinds of things.
I think men face definitely there's unique issues that men face, but especially if you're having a girlfriend, I've realized that the solutions are like basically the same, and that, or very similar, and that a lot of these are the same issues. They're just manifesting slightly differently. A lot of, like, for example, the not being able, for girls, it's not being able to get a boyfriend. For a guy, it's not being able to have sex. A lot of that is just due to poor strategy and social skills, and mainly due to social media and wasting too much time on their phones and not enough time interacting with people in real life. Like, it's basically the same. Or people, for example, who are struggling financially, right? It just usually that has to do with just economics in general, not so much their gender. It just so happens that women go to college more. And again, because also there's just like kind of now culture amongst men that like, fuck college, bro, just go to trade school, even though you're going to make, like, statistically, you're going to make less money if you do that. But yeah,
Really?
I feel like this.
I've heard some good things about trade schools.
It's better than nothing, but you're not going to make as much money as going to college and getting a 4-year degree.
Exactly.
In what? Philosophy? Women's studies?
Just overall, we take bachelor's
Spanish?
degrees and we take trade school degrees.
Yes, including those, on the average, including those, 100%.
Really?
Going to college adds an average of $1 million extra to your net worth, I believe, something like that.
Yeah, again, this is why I say you got to be really careful with stats, and like there's a lot of red pill manosphere guys which are trying to do the right thing and expressing like men's issues, but I think we just need to, like, you can take the real numbers and there's already a crisis there. You don't need to start like again trying to say like, oh, there's 30% of men under 30 that are virgin. It's like, okay, well, yes, if we include like 18-year-olds in these data. And when it comes to like the trade school shit as well, I've heard guys talk about this where they pick like one trade and tell you how much money they earn, and then they'll compare it to like some social study fucking shit. But yeah, on the average, if you go to college, you're going to earn more money than if you didn't.
Yeah, my favorite are like.
So what do you guys think are the real issues that are happening right now?
I think that real issues affect both men and women generally. I think that it's a lack, or at least let's talk about America. It's an economy where working one job doesn't get you enough to pay your bills. It's a high level of bankruptcy. I think it's too much social media. It's a lack of real life interactions. It's poor diet. It's poor hormones. Like, I think these are all like relatively universal issues that both men and women face. They just manifest slightly differently.
I think the biggest issue is the fertility crisis.
Go ahead.
Like, if you don't have people, you don't have society, you don't have countries, you don't have governments, you don't, like, everything gets fucked. Like, a good like example, like the leading indicator of this is, or the main example of this is Korea. Like, their birth rate, I think, is like, oh man, look it up. It might be like 0.8 or like 1.1 or something
it's
like
low,
that.
Yeah.
Well, last time I checked, they had a decreasing population. They're one of the.
But they do have a higher quality of life on average than we do for the average person, which is fascinating.
Yeah, I think when it comes to men, there's a big issue now where women are working a bunch, and the one thing I think men could bring to the table, which is, hey, I've got a fucking job, is just not enough. So you got a lot of women that are in careers, and it's like, well, what are they looking for? We know this is dating coaches, right? What do a lot of women complain about? I need a guy that's a little bit more masculine. He's not a fucking pussy. They're not saying, oh, I really need a guy that has a job. Like, that's not the case anymore. They want a guy that's not a fucking pussy, that can be a little bit more masculine. But what are men taught during their whole fucking childhood on Hollywood and all this shit is, don't be masculine. That's toxic. That's bad. Like, don't show these sides of yourself. So that becomes an issue. And then the other side of it is, I think women do want a guy that can understand them, that actually can have a conversation, that can be intellectual in that sense, that can have like emotional understanding. And once again, what are men taught? It's like, hide your emotions, don't talk about anything, don't have that level of emotional intelligence. So I think women are just left here being like, all right, you got a job, cool, but that's not what I'm after. And then it leads to these like low birth rates, with not wanting to get married, settle down, all that bullshit.
I just looked this up. So obviously the replacement rate is 2.1 children per woman to basically maintain the population size without immigration. South Korea's is 0.72. That's like 1/3 of the replacement rate. So, and there was some video I watched on this. It showed like in the iterations of generations, how many, it's like in 3 generations of 100, like let's say there's 100 people, 3 generations later, it's something very, very disturbing and low. But, and then 45% of countries have fertility rates at or above the replacement level. So that means 55% of countries are not making enough people to sustain their country, basically. So the countries are shrinking.
Yeah, I've heard this talking point made a lot by like Elon Musk and all that. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it that much, because
dude, it's just like an economic objective fact that it is a huge problem.
But
you have an aging population. You need more people to work.
It's just missing the fact that technology affects productivity. So less people could accomplish the same amount of economic productivity as more people back in the day.
With an aging population, you need more people in person to do healthcare jobs, for example. There's a good video on this. Watch, it's like Kurtziget. they did it on South Korea. I've watched a bunch of things in South Korea.
Every year, more and more of those jobs get outsourced anyway. Like technology catches up, and it's not going to replace every job, but it's going to replace a lot of jobs that right now require.
How is AI going to replace changing an old person's diaper anytime soon?
So okay, I'm
talking
about secretarial work, managerial work in those fields, right? That's where a lot of people go. So certain jobs will become more prevalent in the future, but there's a lot of jobs like truck driving, for example. That's 1 million more people are going to be in the workforce 5 years from now. So yeah, there's going to be different jobs. They have different amount of people, but certain jobs.
I think these are kind of two different issues. They overlap a little bit, but they're different issues. You're thinking more of like how technology removes or like changes the workforce and like a lot of basic jobs.
Worker productivity, right? Like we need a lot less people to manage a farm now than we used to create the same amount of food.
Hold on. So like when you have
create a strain on the economy.
Exactly. And also pension systems and social security and stuff like that.
I think the point here is like number one, I guess it's good to look at world replacement rates.
Really, you guys got
one country in that 44%. You gotta leave.
I'll see you guys later.
Bruh.
Yeah. I got a call right now. I gotta go.
Thanks for
See you guys.
Take it easy.
Yeah, so I think it's important to look at like world replacement rates because you could have someone in that 44%, like one country that is just like fucking spamming babies out. But I agree, with an aging population, it's a problem. You will have a lot of jobs being replaced. Healthcare is the biggest fuck because the more technology you actually have, the harder it becomes because now people are living even longer, require more care. I think there's more probably 1-to-1 like care ratios in America now than there probably ever has been because before people just died, now we got them on like machines for a year or some shit, right? Like it's that does become an issue. I guess like what do you do to solve that? Do we just say like, okay, we're gonna have less people around and it's gonna be
the biggest thing they're doing is paying people to have babies,
to pump out babies?
The biggest thing they do is like give tax breaks and they pay people to have babies.
Yeah,
I'm not opposed to that necessarily. I think there should be like paid family leave, and there should be tax breaks for. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that at all. I still think there are bigger issues that the country is facing, like the wealth gap just gets worse and worse every year. More and more people have to go into medical bankruptcy every year. Obviously, the environment is being destroyed, so pretty soon there's going to be all these fucking environmental issues and birth defects, which is already happening actually. So I think you got like bigger issues. You have consolidation, you have monopolies and consolidation of power in certain industries. Like you have more monopolies now and more concentration of power than you used to. So I think there's like probably bigger issues in my opinion, but yeah.
Yeah, we used to have the baby boom in Australia, and there was always like the joke that there's super poor like welfare people who just go and have babies to get like 5K. But yeah, I mean, if you want to pump out some babies, I guess that's the way to do it.
Well, that's like what happens. Like the smarter people have less children, and like poor people have more children. That's why the whole concept, I think, of the movie Idiocracy is that just like smarter people, like when someone goes to college, they're less likely to have a kid, or they're going to have less kids. And so that's why you have like dumb people.
So if you have an IQ above like 120, they should give you more money or something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think you should have to do an IQ test to vote. I think that would solve a lot of problems too.
Or do you know what you do? Okay, you take the egg and sperm from smart people, and then you pay the poor people to inseminate themselves, have the kids. Okay,
that already happens to some extent. That's already happened.
Yeah, there was a documentary. They had this Nobel Prize winner, and this project. They would go around to Nobel Prize winners and have them like jerk off into a cup, and then they'd take the sperm and they'd like impregnate women that obviously wanted to be impregnated. And yeah.
Plot twist.
Most of the kids that ended up from that were like, I hated it because I never had a father growing up, or issues like this. I never knew him.
Yeah, they probably ended up worse. Yeah.
Plot twist. It was just some gay guy that was taking the cum and like gargling it or whatever. Yeah, we're doing this project. If you want to just jerk off in this cup, I have to supervise.
Long story short, I need some cum, but
I'm gonna have to supervise the jerking off part. Give you a hand. Some people struggle. Just part of the experiment. No biggie.
Smart man.
Yeah. Should we bust out a few Q&A questions? We got a bunch.
Let's do it.
Do you think you have to be competent in pulling a girl back to your place in order to be competent with women in general? Yes. I mean, like, that's a key part of it. It's like, do you have to be good at lifting weights if you want to get good at working out? Yeah.
Yeah, pulling just means you're bringing a girl to your place. So, like, if you plan on having sex, that's like the best way to do it is to bring a girl to your place. And it's a skill whether you want to do night game, day game, or dates.
Maybe Jacob doesn't have a home. Okay, maybe this guy's homeless and he's just being fucking in public bathrooms. Okay, maybe this guy's a slave. He's got like a 400 leg count. He's pulling every night, threesomes in the bathroom, and now we're sitting here telling him he's bad at game. Jacob, if that's the case, respect. All right, keep it up.
The biggest sticking point is the place part of that.
Did you guys see that video that came out like 15 years ago about that homeless guy who fucks a lot of chicks and he basically
Joseph Slaney. Bro, I actually talked to him.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you tell him
he wanted to come? He wanted to come on my YouTube channel, like, and film something.
That's cool.
Oh, dude!
He ended up getting sober.
Huh? Can we get him on the Monday panel? That would be epic. If we get him on.
Let me message him.
That's so funny. So you said he ended up getting sober and shit?
That's gay.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, he ended up getting sober, quitting drugs, quitting alcohol.
Does he still fuck a bunch of girls or?
I don't know. Last time I talked to him was like 2017.
He's the guy doing the jerking off experiment.
Exactly.
I got him. Joseph.
All right, sweet.
All right, yeah, we'll try.
Alex, do you think Kyle Kalinske will let you interview him, or does he have to ask Crystal Ball permission first? I would love to talk to Kyle. I'm a big fan of his show. Yeah, I think it'll probably eventually happen. I just don't think I'm on his radar because we're in two different like fucking spaces. But there was one point where I was talking to his admin, his Discord admin, and I think he was contemplating coming on for a debate against Destiny, but it just didn't happen because they said that he doesn't really do debates. But yeah, I don't know. I think it'll probably happen one day. I just don't know when.
This guy said he saw me in a carnivore group. Dude, I'm in so many groups, and I think one of the funnest things to do for me, and if I could monetize this, I would be a millionaire, is trolling Facebook groups. So like sometimes I'll post in a carnivore group, it'll be like a nice juicy steak, and then next to it, it'll be like a small potato or a bed of rice or something. I'm like, God, I love carnivore. It feels so good. And they're like, the fucking potato isn't carnivore, you fucking bit. Like, so yeah, I'm in a Portland vegan group, which is probably like the most like woke, intense, liberal thing that I'm in. And then yeah, the carnivore groups. I like to just kind of like. Am I vegan? No.
Yeah. Oh.
No, so I do like the animal-based diet, Paul Saladino style.
Yeah, yeah. You know, Paul Saladino actually backtracked on carnivore. He's not carnivore anymore.
Yeah, that happened like 4 years ago, Alex.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Bro, can I ban this commenter?
Yeah, sure, whatever. If it's a troll.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see it now. Jesus fucking Christ! All right, guys, wait, hang on. I'm gonna use some settings.
Why is your girlfriend saying the N-word?
She's secretly.
Right. At first, I thought it was her, and I'm like N-I-G, and I'm like, hell, where's this going?
Yeah,
that's funny.
What am I going back to Latin America? I don't know, bro. Mi español es muy bueno. Yo quiero practicar con los NPCs del países latinoamericanos, pero I don't know. I gotta.
Sorry for those that don't know Spanish. I'll be heading back there soon. I'll be donating my cum. If anyone wants some, let me know. Sorry, I speak a bit of Spanish too. So.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Thanks for the translation.
No worries. Anytime.
Dude, that would be a cool. Like when I travel, I like to mix, obviously banging girls, but then also checking out something in nature. And then also the historical things, but then maybe I could combine it with like also sperm donation too.
Yeah, put it in there. Yeah, that was my biggest problem, man. When I used to go out and fucking travel the world gaming, I regret that, where I would just night game every single fucking night. And I got to a point where I'm like, I haven't seen any of this country whatsoever. Like, what the fuck am I doing? So yeah, I started making sure I explored a little bit more.
Why good-looking men look more confident when they're not speaking? Is it a bias we hate when we see them, or are they really confident about what is this based on?
It's based on the halo effect. It actually is legit. Like if you're more attractive, people are gonna perceive you as more intelligent and more confident, even if you don't say anything. And it also works the other way. Like if you're extremely confident, people think that you're more good looking as well. So
Yeah,
a halo effect can
100%.
work in a variety of ways.
Yeah, a lot of girls think I'm taller than I am, right? And it's just because you're confident, or you take up a little bit more space with your body language.
Yeah, it's like you're 5'5", but like when you speak, they're like, God damn, this guy's probably at least 5'7".
7 foot. Damn. Yeah.
Do you guys?
4 pound. Do you guys think relationships open on both ends can work? Why or why not? I feel like I've answered this a few times already. I think that long term, it's probably not going to work out because the girl's going to eventually catch feelings for one of the guys she fucks. That's just my take.
I think long term it can 100% work. Like I know a lot of people in this space where swingers or polyamorous that make it work really well. I think the issue here is you can't force it and expect it to work. Like a lot of studies I looked at when it comes to like relationship satisfaction, people that are more sexually open are going to be much more happy in relationships that fit that dynamic. But if you're trying to fit like a girl that just wants to settle down and be married, and you kind of have enough value to kind of push the open stuff, you're going to face a lot of complications there. But if you have a girl that's naturally like, yo, I want to have like 4 husbands or some shit, then they're going to be much more happy in those dynamics, and same for yourself. So if you're both inclined to that type of relationship, it's going to work amazing. If you're not inclined to that type of relationship, it's going to be a big struggle.
But for real, my question is, how do you guys game with different archetypes of women, like a hippie chick versus divorced mom versus businesswoman versus a party girl? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's really important at first to get just a baseline understanding of what most girls find attractive and what most girls want, and then dive into this archetype type of game. And usually what's going to change, first of all, in my game is thinking, what does she find more attractive? So if I'm thinking about sexualization, a hippie girl versus a party girl are probably going to be 2 different things. Hippie girl, I'm going to talk about tantra. I'm going to talk about like spiritual connection and energy and how you can have like amazing, deep, connected orgasms that way. If I try to talk about that with a party girl, she's going to think I'm a fucking weirdo. So with a party girl, I'm probably going to talk a little bit more about dominance and tying her up and bondage. Even like a hippie girl, you can fucking talk about star signs or some shit. Party girl's going to be a little bit different. So understanding like what the girls find attractive and then what their concerns might be. So hippie girl, it might be something along the lines of she doesn't want like sex and giving her energy away. Whereas a party girl might be, I don't want to ditch my friends or some shit. Or she might be worried about STIs. So yeah, understanding what they're attracted to and then understanding what their concerns are. Those are the biggest 2 things I dive into. There's a lot more nuance than that, but that's where I'd start.
Austen, anything to add?
He's thinking.
Oh yeah, he's frozen again. He looks like he's deep in thought right now.
He does, yeah.
Hey, yeah, I agree. There's the only thing I just had this connection in my brain as you were speaking. It's almost like there's this concept in learning languages where it's like if you try to like learn the grammar from the book, it ends up like you just getting very frustrated and you learn slower and it's like more painful. But if you learn it in the context of just speaking the language and listening to the language, you get the comprehensible input. It like the grammar forms itself like by just a byproduct of you hearing it enough. You like pick it up subconsciously. And I think that's kind of how you deal with different types of women more. Like when I think back to like how I learned how to deal with different types of women and like what they would respond to, and kind of like what Markus said, like what does that girl desire and what does she want out of an experience? What she want out of a guy? It's going to be maybe a little bit different, but based on each girl. But I found it through just kind of like immersing myself and kind of picking up on the vibes and seeing the patterns of like what they respond to. So like in terms of like how to learn it, I think you just got to throw yourself in. Yeah, get the base reference experiences and then start seeing like the little nuances like, oh, these girls respond more when I do this. Or like, even like the divorced mom, like I found those are like the ultimate fuck buddy relationships. They're just like a woman who just has a kid and like all she wants out of you is just like some good sex. She doesn't want to get attached. She's not going to pressure you in a relationship. Like, so those things that happen over time. Cause like me telling you guys that, I don't think it internalized. You're like, okay, now I'm going to do this. You don't even know what doing different game on different girls really means unless you have like the reference experiences. And I don't know, that was an interesting analogy. They clicked in my brain, but
yeah, I would say I think it's definitely a mix of that. Like if students come to you and they've just got no experience, like how do I? It's like, yeah, first of all, just get good with women. But then I think it is a matter of like looking back and not just relying on intuition, like looking back and thinking, if I was going to group girls, how would I group them? And I've had students that have been like, oh, this girl reminds me of Stacy, the girl I dated for a year. Okay, that's your Stacy archetype, and they're going to be very similar. And then I think you can get added knowledge to that. So with my Stacy archetype, tell me about her, describe her. Okay, well, this is the hippie archetype. And there's some things here that I can add to your knowledge base. That you might not have experienced yourself, or that you might have experienced, but you didn't know how to deal with it. This is how you deal with it, and you can add on to that. But yeah, this is very advanced game. Like for most guys out there, it's just a matter of like getting better.
Counterpoint to that would just be, I get that, but the thing is, it's women aren't just like, she's just a hippie girl and that's it. You know, like she's also either, you know, slightly more extroverted, slightly more introverted. She's maybe, you know, more open to new experiences or less open to new experiences. You know, she has different, and yeah, so I feel like it is this, it's almost like threefold. It's like, yeah, get good at girls in general, so you know what good women rely on. Obviously your intuition will guide you. Know some basics about like different types of girls, but then you also have to like kind of establish it based on the girl's life experiences and how she just like reacts to things in the moment. Like, you know, some hippie girl might have some weird thing about like, oh, she doesn't like tantra or something, or she doesn't like this particular type of a meditation. Like I met some spiritual people and it's like, I'll be like, yo, let's do this type of meditation. They're like, I don't do that. I disagree with that style, like entirely. I'm like, what? You know? So yeah, I think at the most advanced level, it's just like, you need to like understand people in general, and like being able to how to read people and kind of, dude, you're fucking, dude, this guy literally is just
fuck.
Oh my fucking Lord.
Yeah, I abandoned. Yeah, I agree. Like this is a guidance. You're never going to be able to look at a girl and be like, oh, here's one attribute. I know exactly how to game, and it's a guide. So as you said, like if you have a girl standing in the club that is wearing fucking nothing, is partying, grabbing her friends, spinning them around, and then you have another girl wearing like a longer dress sitting in the corner, we can make some assumptions about how we might open these girls. Maybe the open is completely wrong though, but at least like you have a fairly accurate assumption. If a girl says, yeah, I'm a fucking hippie, I can have an assumption that she's probably going to be more into Tantra than she's BDSM. Now that could be wrong, right? But it
gives you a lot of branches to go off in conversation.
And then obviously you need to calibrate to all that. But yeah, it's a guide.
You know what's one key difference between men and women is that you will never catch a woman like watching a live stream that she doesn't like, fucking just trying to get the N-word in there and then getting banned and then creating other accounts. This is something that chicks never do. This is only a fucking guy thing.
Do you know why? Because they don't follow through. Okay, they don't try and this guy's gonna come back and back.
They're about to hit the end, and then they're like, "Oh wait, what's this Instagram story?"
Yeah. Oh wow. Oh, check this out. Yeah, exactly.
I'll never understand why some guys dedicate their entire lives to becoming pickup artists. No offense, but I just don't see the appeal. From what I've seen,
women will also do this though. They'll send you like hundreds of messages in a row.
That is, yeah, say some commitment.
Although I've had some guys do that too. Some like spurgy dudes. It's mostly about bragging to other guys about how many women they slept with. The reality is nobody actually cares. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone on this panel is bragging about how many girls they slept with. I always found it cringe. The few pickup artists out there who do brag about their lay counts.
I think it's good as a motivator in the beginning, like one of those lower consciousness things that just get you going, like, oh shit, nice, the next number. But at a certain point, it's like the ideal thing you're looking for is, am I having quality relationships or quality, sexy times with girls that I'm attracted to? Like at a certain point, that's just what it's about. Like, are you enjoying your life?
Pickup artistry is not the end, it's a means to an end for pretty much everyone. Yeah, go ahead.
Do either of you two call yourself pickup artists?
No, dating coach.
Yeah,
I mostly say dating coach.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cringe too. Like, I agree with this guy. If you're calling yourself a pickup artist and you're going out there just trying to like get validation off other men, that's pretty gay. Okay, I completely like. Games should be, as Alex was saying, a means to an end, and that end should be like huge amounts of self-improvement. It should be connecting with other people, not just women, but creating more friends. And then ultimately ending up in a type of dynamic that you are really satisfied and happy with. Whether that is going out and like fucking a bunch of new girls and like building new connections with them, or getting into a relationship. So I agree. It's kind of cringe if you're just trying to fuck girls to tell it, guys.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play Alex and be devil's advocate.
Okay,
I think
ahead.
before pickup artist became a loaded word, it is kind of a cool term. It basically means like you're like an artist with the way that you're crafting the emotions and the words that you're using and like the things that you're saying in the conversation to have this like perfect emotional roller coaster, this experience for the girl to go on. I think that's cool, but then it has become such a loaded, weird thing that over time I don't want to associate with, obviously.
Goofy outfits, negging, like being cringe, like
Actually, the pickup artist isn't even a real word. Okay, the game came from the streets. All right, that's you guys aren't even gaming. Okay, actually, do you know what? Gaming isn't even about women. All right, it's about jerking yourself off. All right, masturbation.
I will also say,
right?
while I do believe it's probably mostly a means to an end. Obviously, it's just so fun. Like game is literally, I think it's top 2 funnest things that you could do. Like it's like game and then playing whatever sport or musical instrument that you like. Those are like probably the 2 funnest things.
Dude, I think game is sometimes more fun than sex. Like sometimes I'll be like fucking out there, like trolling like 3 girls, getting attention from this girl. And I'll have times where girls are down to be pulled, and I'm like, you know what? I'm having a little too much fun at the club right now, so we're gonna wait a little bit. So I mean, it's
not for you.
It can be fun. Yeah.
I think the funnest thing about pickup and game is that it can get you into a flow state, and those feel really good. But you can get into flow states in other ways. Just as a side note, a book I recommend for everyone is called The Rise of Superman. He breaks down the science behind flow states. And I used to think it was just like a pickup thing, but people hit flow states in extreme sports and a bunch of other activities. Basically the trick for getting into a flow state is the difficulty level has to be like 10% higher than what you're comfortable with. If something is like easy, you won't get a flow state. And if something is too difficult, you shut down. It's got to be like 10% more difficult, and then you can hit a flow state. When you're in a flow state, you can actually do a lot of really cool things that you can't do otherwise.
Yeah,
ultimate frisbee. Dude, Australia is actually a really good ultimate.
Say that again.
Yeah, you have to.
What were you saying?
Let's see.
We go.
Oh, did I go off? Okay. I was just saying Australia is very good at ultimate frisbee. They have
really
good teams.
Okay.
The country itself, like the continent, is very good at.
Their national teams have been very, very good. Yeah,
we're good at everything. For such a small country size, we're just good at every fucking sport.
You're not a fucking small country size. You guys are fucking the size of like
population. Sorry, population. You're right. Yeah.
We were told that college.
Man, you guys really got fucked geographically with that the middle of your country.
Yeah, not much happens there, eh?
Just the northwest.
Dude, my favorite Australian expression. You ever see that video of like the guy is walking his alpaca down the street and the guy turns to him and is like, "Hey, nice alpaca," and he's like, "It's not a fucking alpaca, it's a llama or whatever."
Yeah,
and he goes, "I beg your pardon, you fuckwit."
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
We were told that college is a scam, so less men going to college should be considered a good thing. No,
where do people hear shit like this? Is it from like PBD podcasts?
Yeah,
like all the people who say these always send their kids to like the best schools. It's just literally just look where they're sending their kids to school, and you'll have the answers. But yeah, going to college on average adds $1 million to your lifetime income. So that tells you what you need to.
I will say it's a harder argument in America because it's so the prices of it are so inflated.
No, but those stats are from America. Like I think the issue is that universities seem to be more left, and so everyone on the right came out and basically said, "Oh, you know, these people protesting in their social fucking degrees, it's a waste of time." But as Alex said, every fucking rich person on the right in America on these fucking podcasts are not telling their fucking son to be a plumber or some shit, right? They're obviously going to university.
Yeah. What did you guys go to school for?
I was a marketing major.
I was a nurse. What did you do?
Marcus, did you try to become
I'm curious if you guys can guess.
A bunch of girls, or was that something you were passionate about?
Yeah, I was always like very much into science, and nursing was a very good degree to be able to jump into a bunch of other things. Because as dude, when I was 18, I had no idea what the fuck I wanted to do. I was like, I like science. So I got into nursing with one of my buddies, and the plan was to figure out what I wanted and be able to like transfer. And I ended up absolutely fucking loving it. And so yeah,
the plan was we're gonna fuck all these fucking nursing chicks, and we're gonna use that experience to start a dating company. But we're gonna fuck all these nursing chicks because the ratio is like 99-1.
Yeah, I was not getting laid at all. I had no.
Alex, I just had to block another account.
Yes, 3. All right, keep going. You got this, man. Eventually, you'll get it out there. Okay.
They just keep saying that Natty went to therapy. It's like, so what, dude? Everyone goes to therapy. Like, therapy is a very common thing. It's a healthy thing.
Yeah, same.
I'm happy.
I'm actually going to a therapy training pretty soon for ACT therapy.
Dude, ACT therapy is really cool.
People would benefit from going to a good therapist. I one of the things I've been trying to do with my channel is to dispel the stigma with therapy. That's why I always say I went to therapy, and it helped me a lot.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing to take away for people listening, if you're like emotionally constipated and you haven't let anything out, you can't function optimally. You're like literally like emotionally trapped in this prison, and you have potential to do the things that you want to do and that you say you want to do. But if you are literally emotionally trapped in a prison and you literally can't, every time you try to do the thing you want to do, you self-sabotage, or you like it just keeps you trapped basically. So I think at a very basic level, just being able to express those emotions, whether it's with a therapist or whether it's through something you can get like an aggression out or something like that, it's just good to express those emotions so that way they don't keep you stuck. And that's partially, I think, why girls are so much more like socially adept, is they're very good at like getting support for these things and having someone they can talk to. Most guys don't have someone they can talk to. So like you should at least have one person that you can confide in, share things with you, so you don't feel burdened by it.
The sad reality is I saw some study that said like in 20, 30 years ago in the 80s, the average person had, or the average guy had 5 or 6 friends. Now the average guy has 0 to 1 friend.
Yeah, the issue is I think therapy has such a negative term where it feels like there's something wrong with me. I'm fucked up. I need it. I love the game term where it's in a game, right? I feel like if you said to someone, oh, I'm going to some training in a game or some shit, they'd be like, oh, cool. Like, who's the coach? But if you're like, hey, I'm going to therapy, it's like, oh, let's not talk about that. Like, oh, shit, is everything like, what the fuck? Like, you can go to therapy and see it in a positive therapy sense, where it doesn't have to be like, okay, I got all these problems, but like, just how do I manage my emotions a little bit better? How do I become more stable? How do I process these? How do I figure out how I can become better internally? It's a much better way to look at it. Yeah, and I think it's something everyone should fucking explore 100%.
The analogy my therapist back in the day gave, which I thought
I worry therapy is a front for CIA or other shadowy intel agency research, data dragnets, or even worse, MK Ultra style experiments.
The analogy that my
is the Earth also flat?
A while ago,
it's black still the truth.
Was that excuse me? Was that we're basically like we all have our code that we didn't sign up for, that was just kind of given to us from our childhood and upbringing, and the job of a therapist is to optimize the code to make you more successful. I thought that was a really good analogy.
That's a good analogy.
Like, all I'm doing is I'm optimizing your code, which you're probably not even aware of because it's running in the background. It's running through your subconscious, and by improving that code, you're going to be happier and more successful.
Yeah, I love that. I've also heard one of it's just like a mechanic, like going in there and seeing like the issues with the engine and just trying to sort it out and fix it. But the code is a better analogy. But yeah, like that first step is just the awareness. I feel like so many people, they run their emotions and their behaviors on autopilot. And I'm sure if everyone looks back at the last week, there's probably so many things you did or decisions you made, or like that you were completely unaware. It just kind of happened. And I think therapy is a big part of like going in there and seeing, okay, why is this happening? How can we adjust it?
I think upping your self-awareness is something that's beneficial for like literally every single human. I think most people are relatively low self-awareness, and they have the same patterns repeat themselves over and over in every relationship because they're unable to see their role in contributing to the issues they have because their self-awareness is so low. And if you can increase your self-awareness, you'll just overall just have a much better life. What to do with the girl who seemed nice and interested at the bar, and once we got to apartment, she became a total brat. I don't know how to pass any of the shit tests besides ignoring them. All right. You guys want to take a stab at it?
Yeah, Drake, my man, Drake. This is going to be one where a lot more context is required, but I'm going to take a stab here, okay? And then you can reflect and think, does this apply to you? So one thing that might be happening here, if there's not much sexual intent showed at the bar, like if you just said, oh, let's just like go back and we'll just like grab a drink and like nothing will happen and like da-da-da, and then at your place you start trying to escalate, it might not be like total brattiness or it might not be shit test. These could just be concerns. So she's like, well, no, not tonight. I'm not really sure. But it's not the matter like all of a sudden they just came out of nowhere. It's now you're actually showing the intent. So I tried to do this at the bar a little bit earlier and see how she responds there. That's A, right? Something to reflect on. B, it could be that she wants a little bit more dominance here. If it is bratty, if she's smiling and giggling and just giving you some shit and acting out, it's because she wants you to take some fucking control. Girls are never going to get back on a date and say, hey, sorry, Drake, just to let you know, I really like it when a guy's more dominant and direct. I like it when he can throw me on the bed and rip my clothes off and goes for what he wants. Like, it's not going to happen. What she's going to do is say, really? Is that all you got? Is this your apartment? Like, what the fuck? Like, da-da-da. To try get that out of you a little bit. So those are probably, I guess, the two most likely things that are going on here. But without more context, you're gonna have to reflect.
He gave a little bit more. So he says, so with a brat, you ignore the dick. She makes that you address an example. What you can't cook as a girl, man. I just ignore it and it got worse and worse. Yeah. You don't want to just ignore it. So the way I would respond to that, there's multiple ways you could respond to it, but one of the ways would be to just kind of just walk up closer and be like, don't you ever insult my cooking skills. Like that would work pretty well. Another thing you can do is you can just exaggerate and play into it. Be like, no, I make the best fucking mac and cheese. Like you should see that shit. I put that in my microwave. Comes out 60 seconds later. It's fucking delicious. You have no idea what you're talking about. Or you can flip it on her. You can be like, is this your thing? Is this how you flirt with guys? You just insult their cooking skills, right? There's so many ways you can pass that shit test, but yeah, you don't want to just ignore it. Because then it's going to keep happening.
I agree that you should definitely learn how to pass shit tests, but you should also learn how to just be a better person in all areas as well. Like that is a kind of a, I get that she's shit testing you, but it's like also why not just learn how to be good at cooking? Why not learn how to like, be better at everything?
Dude, the shit test, like there's going to be some girls will give you shit tests no matter even if you're great at everything. They're always going to find a way.
They'll invent.
Oh, I get it. I teach how to deal with shit tests. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
it's also good to be good at things.
It depends where this is coming from. If she genuinely is back at your place and you don't know how to cook and you're fumbling around and you look nervous, and then she says like you don't even know how to cook, that's an area where you're like, maybe I should like fucking learn some house skills at this point. But if she's like, wow, you don't even know how to cook, you call yourself a man, she's gonna invent something like that anyway. And as Alex said, I think picking that like very dominant and direct and giving her a little bit of shit is a right thing to do here, because you can pass shit tests by being playful, but if she's after that dominance, I'd go with what Alex said and like, what the fuck? Don't say that again, okay? You understand?
Yeah, and she's also testing how you have boundaries as a man. Like she's in your house calling you out on shit, and like, yeah, establish the boundary. And first do it, somewhat playfully.
Ultimate Man Project. So, Marcus, do you think if it's the woman's responsibility to communicate really well about what she desires, it's unfair to expect of a sub as her? I think like responsibility and fairness is the long way of looking at it. It would be better if women were better communicating, but the world we live in, it would be better if there was no homeless people or no one starved to death. But just the world we live in right now is one where women will typically not communicate that nearly as well as they should. So just fairness, like who gives a shit if it's fair or not? It's just the way it is, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to look at a fairness, like guys get the fuck around, women don't. We judge the fuck out of them. When I say we, I mean men, not necessarily like us. So in that circumstance, that's how it is. It's your responsibility to make her feel trusting and open enough to share this with you. So I would never expect to just be on a date with a girl and say like, okay, so what are your kinks? And her to be like, oh, my kinks, here's my list. That happens in like a BDSM dungeon. That happens on your kink apps. It's not going to happen with a girl off Tinder or some shit. In these situations, you have to be able to show some authority. You have to open her up a little bit. You have to give her the room to basically show, I'm not going to judge you. Now let's explore some of these. In that case, yeah, she 100% will. And you'll create like a good sub-dynamic there, but it's your responsibility.
Myron's on a date with a girl, and he's trying this. He's like, so, what are you into? She's like, oh, I like to be tied up. Slut!
Yeah, exactly.
Whore.
For the streets, whore. Yeah.
Oh, shit. I mean, that's interesting. What else?
Yeah.
What was your takeaway from your Tony Robbins book? I mean, like the premise is that everything we do is tied either to avoiding pain or seeking pleasure, and I think that's probably mostly true. So, yeah, and so sometimes we form incorrect connections where we, for example, associate doing something positive with pain, and we have to rewire those connections through conscious effort. That's basically the gist of it. What advice do you give guys to pull girls while still living with your parents who wouldn't approve of bringing girls home? I mean, my advice would be to be a man, not give a shit. Like, your parents are not going to disown you. They're not going to, like, 99% of the time, they're not going to disown you. It's just mostly people are afraid. And, like, maybe your dad will give you the sour eye, give you a lecture, but eventually they'll just get used to it. I don't know. Like, it blows my mind when someone's like an adult, but they're still, like, scared of their parents.
I would say it's not your resources that matter, it's your resourcefulness. And I'll give you an example. Like, I don't know. I was living with my grandparents, and yeah, I did the thing Alex did. Basically, like, walked them up the squeaky wooden steps up to my place, or up to my room there. Also, during the summer, I had a blanket in my car, and I would just like take girls on hikes and like bang them on hikes. And then when I lived in Toronto, because I was like 15 minutes outside the city, sometimes I'd pull and I didn't want to like take the whole 15-minute ride back. And I'd literally just take them from the club district to a boat that was docked on the Toronto harbor and just bang them on the boat. Also, for dates in Toronto, I went to this very high-end like hotel, and I just walked straight in the lobby confidently and went to the bathroom there. It's like very floor-to-ceiling doors and just bang in the bathroom. And it's funny, you'd think like girls wouldn't be down for that, but they are. It's adventurous for them. And then another thing I did, I had a friend that I would game with, and he had a 2-bedroom downtown. And he said, yeah, bro, anytime you want to come bang a girl at my place, like, feel free. And he gave me a key. So yeah, get wingmen and get resourceful. Like, figure out your area. Like, you can literally just do a walk around like the areas that you normally game or where you live, and like find places to bang girls there. Like, if you have friends, if you have, if there's like nice hotels, if there's like little nooks and crannies, like, it doesn't really, you don't need to fuck in like a bed, basically. And beggars can't be choosers. And then ultimately, obviously, move out of your parents' house, and like start a life of your own. But you can also just bring them straight in, like Alex said. Like, yeah, don't be a pussy and be resourceful, basically.
Yeah.
The one thing I'd add to that is, I like that word adventurous. Like, just make it clear this isn't, oh, fuck, I live with my parents. What are we going to do? Okay, I guess there's a bathroom. Like, obviously, this is an adventurous thing. It's like, hey, like, you assume we do have a bed, but I don't want to use that right now. Okay, we're going to fuck in this church or on top of this hill or in the bathroom, whatever it is. Make it like fun and exciting for the girl.
Dude, I fucked in the Hollywood cemetery in the church, and in the back, we went into like the back, and we're like, holy fuck, there's like there's like a cross, what the fuck, the Islamic thing, the crescent, and then there was like the Jewish star, like all in the back of this church. It's kind of interesting. Yo, Alex, can I ban your girlfriend? She keeps saying the N-word.
Yeah, fuck her.
Okay.
Oh, we're back. Okay, that's 4. Come on, keep going. You got this.
What's her ethnic background?
My girlfriend, she is half Spanish and half Colombian.
Ah, nice. Mi nombre es Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria. Mis ojos están en todos lados. Have you ever seen Narcos?
How long you been?
Yeah,
how long have you been learning Spanish for, Austen?
I learned it for like 2 years, and then I moved out of Colombia, and then I'm restarting again. Literally, if you guys want to know the best way to learn Spanish, Dreaming Spanish on YouTube to get comprehensible input. And then once you get like a month of that, then you can just take classes on Italki or in-person Spanish.
Listening to it while you sleep?
Dreaming Spanish, it basically is just someone talking like this. They'll be like, esto es mi celular. Es gris. Está bueno. Tienes
Sounds
tres
like a-
cámaras. Tiene tres cámaras.
like a
so it'll be
kid's
like
show.
that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Austin, how does your game work without coming off as goofy or a clown? I feel like if I ever tried a game like you, I'd be dancing monkey very quickly. I guess my question would be why.
I'll say I am goofy, and I attract girls that are goofy as well. But also, if you watch my infields, you can see I have strong eye contact. I'm very touchy, and then also like I have periods where I'm just talking to the girl. Like I'm not just constantly like right as it's leading up to sex. I'm not like, oh my god, here's my ding dong. You know, I'm not like, you know, there's like I do like to banter. I do like to like talk shit and like tease girls and stuff, but like teasing is one of those things where it's like it's fun and it's dominant. It's like it's sexual. Eye contact's one of those things too that's like sexual and also like giving value. It's a balance, but I just balance it out, dude. And I calibrated it over time. My style's definitely not like the average style. The thing that I need to focus on in game was to be more boring and more relatable. Most people need to focus on being more like funny, goofy, and expressing their personality. I'm not afraid of being cringe. I'm like, what is the thing? It's like reject. Fuck, I have this meme, but yeah, I'm okay with like being myself, and it's not for everyone, and that's okay. And you don't have to be me. And if you don't resonate with style, then don't follow me. I don't care.
The underlying principles though are good. I would say I'm also a bit goofy, but I don't see why you would be a dancing monkey. Like you're a dancing monkey when all you're trying to do is entertain the girl. If you're trying to focus on banging the girl, right, and you're not constantly just trying to
let me talk about that. So that concept means basically I'm not enough as I am, so I need to do a song and dance to keep the girl there. That is like the worst frame. My frame is, oh, I'm having a good time. Oh, let me share this good energy that I have with other people. Oh shit, this girl's hot. Oh shit, what's up? Da-da-da-da. Like that's my like that's what's essentially going on in my head. It's just like
I think there is an
like a dumb child.
I think there is something to be careful of for students though that hear that. I think you can probably be in a situation where you're not trying to ever impress the girl, but you do just enjoy having fun and being a little bit goofy. Like I know, especially for me, for a long time, I got to a point where I wasn't trying. As I said before, I just enjoyed gaming. But there does need to come a time where I'm like, I need to sacrifice what I'm enjoying right now to actually get serious, have a more sexualized conversation, like pull this goal. Because if I just did what was like fun for me in the moment, yeah, I probably just would stay out all night gaming. And then this girl would just be like, okay, I guess we're not having sex. I'm going home. So yeah, there does need to be like a transition period there, even if you're the type of guy out there that's like enjoying themselves, having fun, and it's not for the girl.
Also, just build sexual tension. If you build sexual tension, you're not going to be a dancing monkey.
Yeah, and it's one element of game. It's not the game. It's one element of game. It's not the game in general. Like so, obviously you cycle through the different elements of game.
Oh, by the way, did any of you guys watch Adolescence, the Netflix show?
No.
Okay, I watched it. First of all, pretty cool show. Second of all, it's not as red pilly as you think. There's like 2 lines in the fucking show about like the manosphere or something. But anyway, good series.
Any advice on this? What does it mean that a girl said she doesn't feel a connection after the first night we hooked up? She sent a text saying she felt our personalities weren't compatible. Could mean multiple different things. Could be that just she didn't enjoy the sex that much, or it could legitimately be that she just feels like you guys are too different. You have different values. Maybe she's correct, maybe she's not, but she has a certain set of assumptions about you, and she feels they're not compatible with her goals. That will happen sometimes, but most likely, probably the sex wasn't that great. Or something, or you said something or did something that turned her off, would be my guess.
This is 99% chance sex or too needy, right? Like, because if she didn't think personalities were compatible, she's probably not going to have sex with you, right? Likely here is that you sent her a message right after sex saying that like you want to meet her again, or you had a really good time, you can't wait, or some bullshit you're showing some neediness there. Or as Alex said, the sex just was crap. And she's never going to like message you and say, the sex wasn't great, I don't want to see you anymore. Of course, she's going to be like, I didn't feel the chemistry. Personalities were compatible. I feel like we're looking for different things. They're always going to hit you up with that bullshit.
Yeah. Is there a way to come back? As I was just off work that night and explained this to her over text, and she was like, yeah, I think you made a mistake by doing that, by trying to justify yourself over text. A much better thing to do would have been to ask questions like, okay, appreciate the honesty. Why do you feel like there's a disconnect? You know, try to actually get her to explain her underlying issue. You want to avoid justifying yourself or like, you know, like, oh, you know, it's just because, you know, I was a little tired. Like none of that, even if it's all true, none of that is actually going to help you in any way. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
you're trying to change her mood. Never mind.
Oh, sorry, there's a bit of lag. Yeah, like at this point, you're pretty much done. You're gonna need some huge swing of perception. So as Alex said, like trying to actually figure out exactly why. She's probably gonna give you some bullshit, like it's just the energy. I just didn't feel it, or something like that. You're kind of dead at this point. You might try to throw in some value there. You know, I'd probably send off some message. But you've already had sex. It's hard to even have some sexual value here. You're pretty much fucked. But you could throw out like 10 to 15 orgasms next time might change that. But I mean, you're pretty much dead here.
Where's all the infields? Are dudes even pulling anymore? Nope. People haven't had sex for the last few years. I mean, every single one of us has multiple infields on their channel. My last video literally was an infield. So yeah, there's still plenty of them. You just gotta search. Hey bros, in your opinion, do girls like having sex with guys from the club? I heard girls love sex but have a mental block where I feel as though they may not want sex. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty common for a lot of guys where they have this perception that, you know, of course, I really like sex, but I think like girls don't really like it that much, because that's probably your experience. Every time you've been on a date or you've spoken to girls, they've probably tried to play this down with you, saying, yeah, like I just prefer personality. I don't really like sex that much. The girls don't want to go home with you. So that's probably what your reality is built around. Yeah, the understanding here is that that's just not the case. Like you can go to female forums and watch them talk about how much they want to fuck guys. You can read books. You can go to erotica. There's all proof of it out there. And the more you start acting in this way, the more you'll actually start seeing that truth in the world. So if you talk to a girl in a club, and even just small conversations around being sexually open, if the girl feels that that's your world belief, she's going to fall into it and be more open to it. If she feels as if you're Myron, that's being like slut, of course she's going to act like she doesn't like sex. So this is like a self-fulfilling, I guess, prophecy or core belief. Find some evidence of it out there and then start interacting with women in that way, and you'll start seeing more of it.
You know, I've told this story before, but this was before Fresh and Fit. Me and Myron went out one night to pick up girls, and the funny thing with him is that his opener is actually okay. He comes in pretty strong, but he fails like every fucking shit test. As soon as the girl gives him any bit of non-compliance, he just self-ejects. Like I remember specifically one time we were talking to two girls, and it was going well, and then he just like randomly just walks away, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? And then I came back. I was like, dude, where'd you go? He's like, oh, she said, I don't remember exactly what it was, but something like super minor. That was like obviously a joke. I was like, wait, what? You left because of that? So, yeah. All right, what else do we have?
Yeah, I just did a video on fake confidence or delusional confidence, which it's that basically where you can go in acting like girls see you and they're like, wow, what a confident dude. But the minute it's tested, the minute it's like, oh, is that the best cooking you can do? Do you call yourself a man? Or something? It crumbles. These guys are so fucking insecure that even one little sense, maybe they're rejected, they get the fuck out of there so quick. Yeah, it's just not real confidence.
If you're truly confident, there's almost never a reason for you to get loud, get defensive, get angry, get emotional. It's almost never, like actually.
Guys, stop. Alex, stop what you're doing right now. This guy needs the latest infield right now. We got to get out. Get your
my last video was an infield. Like, I have so many on my channel. So does Austen and Markus. I guarantee you he hasn't seen like even like 5% of our infields, but for some reason he needs more. I don't know.
Dude, I have a meme for this very instance. Here we go. Bro, you know this meme?
Please just post one more infield, I promise. It'll be enough. Just one more, bro. Please believe me. I know I haven't seen photos. Please, bro. Just a little more infield. Just a few more videos. Oh, that's funny.
That's good. That's good. I like it.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, me neither.
That's
Well,
good.
I made it today, so that's why I haven't seen it.
Oh, let's say I have a successful pull and I got the girl back to my place and we're kissing and make out, but she's giving me last minute resistance. How do I handle that and still get the sex? It's a little bit of a dicey topic to get into on YouTube. So I'm going to speak in a little bit of a vague way, but one of the things you can do is use the 2 steps forward, 1 step back strategy. So when she gives you LMR, you take a step back and then you try again. Another thing you can do is logically address whatever her objection is. This is if you've tried a bunch of times, it's not working. I've had pretty good success with doing this where I just like stop, be like, hey, listen, no pressure at all, but I'm just curious. Why are you so skittish about having sex? Do you hate sex or something? Kind of say in a humor step away and then get the underlying objection from the girl and then reframe it. That's also something you can do.
Dude, that might be my favorite line of yours when girls are like, we're not going to have sex, are we? And you're like, nah, I hate sex.
Yeah, it works really well. Or I like to also say, do you hate sex or something? And then the girls are like, no, but I'm like, there we go. Underlying objection. That's what I wanted.
I'd also add in there in terms of like escalation, like you're making out and shit. Try not be the makeout guy. Like I feel like the easiest form of escalation here is usually verbal. If you can get it like turned on with your words first, and then like just a massage. Like if you just tell her like lay down, I'll give you a massage. It's so easy to get it like out of her head, get her a bit more turned on. I feel like as soon as you start making out, girls know where that's leading, and that's where a lot of the anxiety comes up. Massage tends to be a little bit more smooth, but otherwise, yeah, get the objection out. I think that's perfect.
Yeah. Do any of you guys do table approaches? I really see that. And after COVID, that's super common and makes cold approach harder. I mean, this only applies at like fancy clubs. If you're not at a club, if you're like at a bar or a lounge, this wouldn't, or some lounges it would, but if you're doing day game,
talk to the guy at the table, you befriend the guy at the table, then he introduces you to the girls, and yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, the best form of that open I've found is just going up to the guy and saying like, "Hey, sorry, excuse me, sorry, I just need to ask you one thing." He'll be like, "What's up?" And then you say, "Dude, how did you get so many fucking girlfriends? Holy fuck, dude, I can't even find one." And now, to the guy, you feel like lower value. He feels a little bit more secure there because you're talking about. But the girls can see that you're the high value guy in this situation. The girls can see you're trolling a little bit here, and it just works really well.
So this girl at work saw the boss wasn't giving me food as he wasn't happy with me. So after very busy, she came around, offered me slices for pizza, and showed empathy towards me. Is she interested? There's a chance she might be, but
she might just think you're like fucking.
Yeah, it might just be pity. Also,
yeah.
Pity is the death of desire, as they say.
Yeah.
Hard to say. There's a chance she could be interested. I don't know. You got to ask for her number and see what happens.
Dude, that wheelchair pull I had, everyone was like, they're just going with him because he's in a wheelchair. And then, and then during the whole like looks maxing thing, people were like, dude, he's wheelchair maxing. My friend
with benefits. I like how during the wheelchair video, you just start randomly walking at one point.
That was an ultimate Frisbee injury, actually. My friend with benefits texted me. She's saying she's pregnant with a picture of a positive pregnancy test. She has BPD and bipolar type 2. What should I do?
Oh, fuck. I don't know if this is a serious comment or not.
All right, here's what I've been in this situation many, many times. So what you're going to do is you're going to buy 2 pregnancy tests for her, like wrapped up. You're going to put her in your bathroom and make her piss on both of them. And then that will tell you if she's lying or not. But you may be a dad, so congratulations.
Yeah, if you need help with names, let us know.
Well, if she's like, I feel bad if this is like actually serious, but
I mean, like, is there a chance you actually?
I'm really in favor of the name.
Shit, then you're probably completely fine here. If you like came in this goal raw, then I mean you're already fucked up there. But yeah, as Austen said, you just need to find out if this is actually real. So she needs to either go to the doctors and actually get a proper test, or in front of you she needs to pee on a stick, and you need to figure that shit out. And then from there, you can come back and let us know what's going on. But if you used a condom and this girl's bipolar and you haven't spoken to her a little bit and she's trying to get your attention, that's probably all it is. But yeah, see how you go. Good luck.
I remember when I was in Colombia, in Bogota in 2018, I hooked up with this girl who was just like fucking a nut job. And I didn't really realize it until like I met up with her. And we used a condom. And then she texted me afterwards because I was just like done with her. And she was like, by the way, I got pregnant that night. And I'm like, bitch, it's so fucking a week later. You don't even know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I use a condom. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
I just ignore her.
Yeah.
Yo, Alex, what's the law in America? Let's say a girl got pregnant with your kid. Are you maxed out at a certain amount of what you owe in child support, or does it depend on your wealth? And is there like a cap on it? Do you know any of that?
You know, I've never had to pay child support
because there'll be like these lines in the rap songs where they're like, oh man, what's this line? It's baby, I'm a baller. You know that I can't raw you, but it's like he's basically implying like he can't get her pregnant because he's a baller. He's not taking those risks, you know. But if you're a super baller and you got a girl pregnant and you're just paying like $2,000 a month of child support or something, that's not much money at all. And
it depends on the state. I'm looking it up.
So,
but in Florida, there is not a set maximum limit for child support payments.
Wow. So I'm curious how that works.
Oh, if parties combined income is over the maximum amount of child to be shared between the parties for children. 25,000. I see another thing that says 25,000 for one child. I think per year.
Yeah, so it looks like they want to. It seems like in most states, basically maintain the type of standard of living the child would have if they were living with both parents. So if your daddy's like a billionaire, then it's probably going to be quite a lot of money to maintain the type of like standard that kid would have if they were living with the dad.
Dude, I think if
he was living with the billionaire, he'd be going on a yacht, so the kid's gonna need his own yacht.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dude, I think if you get a girl pregnant and you guys have she has the child and you don't want to help the kid, you're kind of a piece of shit anyway.
Sure. Yeah. Also. Yeah.
Like, I just could not imagine doing that. We're like, yeah, I'm just going to abandon my child. Like, fuck you, little baby, because your mom's a slut.
So, Alex and Marcus, if you guys had unlimited money, let's say you just had $10 billion. That's a limit, but let's say you had $10 billion. How many baby mamas would you have?
Honestly, like one. Like, I just think it's, to Alex's point, like, I don't think money is the thing holding me back from having lots of different kids with different children. Like, it's the time I want to invest as a father, right? Like, if I'm going to have a kid, I don't have this like Genghis Khan.
Dude, if you have that amount of money, you couldn't think of a way to spend time with your kids?
Yeah, but then I'd just probably have one mother and just spend time with my kids with that mother, I guess. I probably wouldn't have like 50.
How many kids would you have with that one mother, though?
Honestly, probably like 3. Maybe 4.
But dude, Korea needs to be repopulated, bro. You're selfish.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe I'm selfish.
Think of the kimchi, dude.
How I live my life. Yeah.
Dude, speaking of, I was going to bring this up earlier, but I got distracted. Speaking of like the fucking Asian countries, you guys hear what happened to Vitaly ZTV?
Bro, that guy's fucked.
He was like part of the reason. I don't know him personally at all, but like his content was part of the reason I got fascinated with YouTube. I remember binging on his videos in like 2012. It's crazy. Now he's going to be in jail in the Philippines for like fucking 30 years.
Bro, to be honest, he fucking deserves it when you see all the shit he did. But
he deserves like a year in jail. I don't think he deserves like 25 to 30 years.
Okay, that's a fair point. That's a fair. He maybe 2, but fair point.
A year or 2 in jail would teach him the lesson that he needs.
But dude, I mean, this motherfucker, for those that are wondering,
I never understood people going to foreign countries that have different laws and then like just acting as if they can do whatever they want in their home country.
It's just an ignorance, because the idea is like, oh, these Asian people are submissive and pussy. So like, you know, in America, you fuck with people, they'll punch you in the face. In Asian countries, they won't do anything. Well, there's no amount of truth to that. People are less likely to fight you But like in the Philippines is the last country you want to fuck around. Like they'll just, they're not going to punch you. They're going to arrest you and put you in jail for the rest of your life.
Yeah, doesn't the president have like death squads on motorcycles that just go and like assassinate people?
No, that was the old president Duarte, and he's actually now on trial. Yeah, that was the old president. But yeah, they used to just shoot drug users in the face.
But yeah, for those that don't know, he's a prank YouTuber, but he went to Philippines and like stole a police officer's motorbike and drove off with it. He was stealing police officers' like hats. He
to be fair, he did give the motorcycle back ultimately, but yeah.
He gave. Sorry, when I say steal, not forever. He like drove around and like came back, but it's like same difference, I guess. But yeah, it wasn't as if like he was a public nuisance and went and did some pranks. Like he did some shit that you would expect would end you up. You'd expect to end up in prison for. Maybe not for 25 years. I agree with that, but
I mean, like in America, that stuff would get you like maybe like either a massive fine or like a month in jail. You know, like well, the police officer stuff gets dicey. Depends on like if you get like a felony resisting arrest charge, but. Like, yeah, the Philippines just don't fuck around. So it's just him being stupid. It's really sad also to see the deterioration because his pranks used to be well like planned out and well thought. Like I think what makes a good prank is that after the person finds out they're being pranked, they can laugh about it. It's like, oh, okay, you got me there. What makes a bad prank is if it's just like after the prank, the person is still really fucking pissed off. Or like some people will always get pissed off, but like if you're just all you're doing is causing harm to people, like you're just walking around with fucking water balloons and like chucking them in people's faces, like that's not a prank. That's just being a nuisance.
There's this psychology book I'm reading. They talked about this that as a kid, if you like punishment fails for several reasons, and one of the reasons punishment fails is for some people it's actually a hidden reward because they're getting the thing that they want, which is attention. So it sounds like it seems to me like a lot of these pranksters is like they got the attention of their parents when they did bad things, and then that kind of just carried on later in life. And yeah, that's my hypothesis.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with Vitaly, but it's a sad ending to his. I mean, at one point he was like one of the biggest people on YouTube.
Yep. Yeah, he was dating my sister's friend, and that's how I originally found out about Pickup. Funny enough.
Damn, there you go.
Yeah.
He was dating your sister, huh? Okay, interesting.
Damn, all right.
But yeah, kind of sad to see. Just massive. I mean, he beat up that random girl who was jogging when he was fucked up on shrooms, and then he was gone for a few years, and then he came back and he started doing the predator pranks, which are actually like pretty interesting. And then I don't know why he just downgraded to like Johnny Somali style like nuisance streaming. But I think like a lot of content creators, their feedback loops get fucked because they're like, if I do this, I'm gonna get more live viewers, and their brain just gets so addicted to like more viewers, and they just.
Dude, you want to hear something really, really fucking nuts?
Yeah, sure.
In relation to the predator thing, so there's these people on the internet that they essentially they're like a hacker group, and they'll go after pedophiles. Oh yeah, and they'll hack their computers, and then they'll like demand like $20,000 to not leak the fact that they're a pedophile, basically. And the interesting thing about these people that are hacking them is they're mostly like kids that are like between 14 and 16 years old that are hacking them and getting like 20K payouts.
Damn. They should take the money.
The predator's like, anyway. Yeah, sure, I'll give you the money. Do you want to just stop by my house and pick it up?
I thought about it, like what the reason would be for them not to report them afterward is probably that word would spread that, oh, I had to pay this, pay out, and then I got busted anyway. So what's the point of paying the money? So I think that might be a concern of theirs because they're punishing the people, which I think is a social net good, right? But yeah, man, it's a weird thing.
I don't know. Those fuckers should be in jail if they're like actually pedophiles, but I guess them losing their money is better than nothing. I skipped the question. Is make it till you fake it still good beginner advice? What do you guys think?
To a certain level, but I'd prefer to look at it this way. Have an idea of the type of person you want to become. And when I say have an idea, have a very specific idea. Like write down the types of traits, how you want to act, what you want to look like, how you want to be perceived. Have an idea of who you want to become. and then start taking actions to become that person. So if I say to myself, for example, when it comes to opening, I want to be the type of guy that is super confident when I go on open. I want to be the type of guy that no matter how the girl reacts, I'm not going to let it affect who I am or like how I see myself and, you know, whatever it might be. Then go up and try to be that person. Now, technically it's faking it because you're not exactly there, but it feels very different to your psyche than pretending to be someone you're not. Because now if you get success, you always feel like an imposter. Whereas if you now get success, you're like, okay, I'm one step closer to being that person that I want to be. And eventually you'll be that guy and there'll be no imposter syndrome that comes with that. So yes, faking it till you make it kind of works. You just have to have like the right process and idea behind it when you're doing it.
I will just add one thing to it is that you don't want to like completely fake your personality. You just want to push the limits and exaggerate the good stuff. So like you want to be 20% more confident, even if you're not there, or 20% more assertive, which may feel unnatural. But if you're someone who's like very, let's say, timid, and you just decide, I'm going to be super fucking assertive, like that's probably not a good way to go. But you want to kind of push your personality in the right direction rather than just completely fake and make things up.
Yeah, the other thing I would add is that all the traits. I was going to say the other thing I would add is that all the traits that you see in us that you want to emulate, they're literally a part of you. You're just developing them. You're just at an earlier stage. It's like if you see someone like, you know, professional basketball player, and there's like a 5-year-old kid who wants to be that professional basketball player. He already has some of those traits. He just has to develop them, right? Like his athleticism, his vertical, his awareness, like all those things can just be developed. And like everything that another person can learn, you essentially can learn as well. So yeah, and I do agree that it's very good to emulate people in the beginning, because you don't have to like question things. You don't have to like fuck around and waste time. You're just like, they say it, I'm going to do it, execute the program for like, you know, 6 to 12 months. And then at that point, then you come back, you dial back some of the traits that you may have picked up from them that are not good. And because when you're just emulating, you're literally picking up everything subconsciously. You're picking up their belief systems. You're picking up like their weird habit, the like weird things that they do and stuff. But like after, you know, 12 months of that, you're getting like 100x upside in that one skill set. And then you're getting like maybe, you know, a couple bad things here and there. And then you can just trim that and you come back to center. I like that model where it's like you first start as like dependent, then you become independent. You're like, I'm my own thing. And then the last phase is interdependent, where it's like, I am my own thing, but I can take inspiration from things. I can take, like, I like what this person does. I like that. So I think at first it's like, find that one person that you really like, learn everything from them for a year, then be your own self and try to like, think about like, does this resonate with me at the core level? And then you can start to see things, you know, piece things together from there.
I will say this, Austin. I think you have like some of the best models for inner game stuff that I've ever seen.
What?
Like your whole your model about like the 5 levels of inner game or game. About you start off.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that's inner game. It's more just like that. That's the model that I think about how people learn game, like the process.
Well, can you explain it real quick for anyone who's curious?
Yeah. Desensitization, vibe, sexualization, strategy, and then naturalization.
No,
so
sorry, I'm thinking of something else. There's one where you talk about like the levels of like self-improvement or levels of development. I don't know if it's development. Levels of self-improvement, levels of game. You talk about like how there's conscious competence, unconscious.
Oh, yeah. Are you talking about that? That's not mine.
No. I know that's not yours. I'm saying you have like a more detailed. I don't know, dude. It's in your fucking course. How do you not know what I'm talking about? The like the levels of naturalization.
That's just I have the 5 phases of game. It's a pyramid.
Yeah. What are the 5?
What you're thinking of?
Not what you were saying. It was something about inner game. I don't know how you don't know what I'm talking about. It's your. I remember when I first when you either told it to me or read it in your course. I thought it was like pretty good.
Well, yeah, I just don't know what you're talking about.
Yes,
I have inner game stuff in every phase.
Yeah, it was just like the levels of inner game or something like that, where you talk about it's not the conscious unconscious competence. It was a more expanded version of that. where you were talking about the first level was this, second level is that, and finally you get to like the final level, which is like 7 levels. All right, whatever, doesn't matter.
Super Saiyan level.
When I go in direct, I struggle with showing intent. Do you have any advice? That's literally the video I'm releasing tomorrow. Actually, is going to cover this. So watch for that. But there's multiple ways to show intent. You can tease the girl. You can playfully misinterpret what she's saying. You can stand closer to her. You can have strong eye contact. You can lightly touch her. There's a million ways.
Yeah, going indirect in an open is fine for like beginners. I find that you can only really go like pretty indirect in terms of like your verbals in an entire interaction. Like the people that do, I love this phrase, invisible game. Like you could literally pick up a girl in front of her mom or like her dad, and like there could be like this like invisible connection between you and her, where it's like you're just subcommunicating intent, and that requires experience. I don't really talk about that until like the naturalization phase of game. Like your ability to subcommunicate.
Yes, that was it. The naturalization. Perfectly. Yeah, naturalization phase. What is that part of? What that whole thing?
The 5 phases of game, bro. That's what I talked about.
Okay, maybe I'm misremembering. So what are the 5 phases of game? Just tell me again.
Bro, desensitization, where you're getting out of like, your NPC mode and you're starting to take action. Then there's the vibe phase where you're able to like add value to the people you're talking to. Then the sexualization phase where we're making more man to woman. She gets turned on. Then strategy phase, all about like seating, leading, pulling, objection handling, all that kind of stuff. And then naturalization phase when it becomes integrated into who you are, and that's kind of like that interdependent and naturalized phase of game where it's like you visible game. And then from there, I do have a 6th phase of game, and that's for like the premium course, and that's where we talk about all the cool little all the cool stuff that you can do afterward, like Markus doing the fucking sex cult stuff, Alex scraping leads off of Tinder and then using AI to filter only the big booty Latinas, and then you like that. What's that German guy? He does like I have a few friends now that do this. They literally they start a bikini brand and then they get girls off of Instagram to pose for their bikini brand. And then they're just like around models all the time because they're just posing for their bikini brand. And then obviously over time, like social circle stuff, they just kind of like fall into their frame and blah, blah, blah. And then they eventually have sex with them, which is feels so good, dude. It's really good for the limbic system.
Dude, are you familiar with the concept of like there's a porno series? It's like Net Calendar Girls or something like that. But basically, it's all acted. But the concept is really cool. Where
bro, I literally thought you said Net Calorie Girls.
No, calendar girls. Okay. Something like calendar girls. But the idea is that the girl comes in to be a model, and the guy like fucking slowly convinces her to fuck him. Yeah,
and it's actually like seduction.
Yeah. The acting's not bad, but yeah,
I probably jerked off.
There you go, infield. Who was asking for infield? All right, there you go. Calendar porn.
There you go, bro. Just search calendar porn.
The wrong thing.
GG.
I think it's like Net Calendar Girls. I forget.
They're gonna be like some fireman calendars.
Is this what I'm supposed to jerk off to?
Yes. The answer is always yes.
Let's do like 2 more questions, maybe. What do you think of the trend of women posting themselves swiping on guys' profiles or posting innocuous conversation they've had with guys on dating apps, like in your experience, or how women most likely to humiliate men for something? First of all, just keep in mind, this is a very small percentage of women that do this. We're talking like way less than 1%. This is not something like every other girl is doing. Second of all, I don't think anything of it. I think it's like irrelevant. It's just,
if you haven't been shamed at this point in your life, what are you doing, bro? Like, if you haven't had multiple death threats against you, like you're too thin-skinned. You need to toughen up. So this shouldn't really bother you. I think every man should have multiple death threats. Every man should have been in a fight. Yeah.
I've never actually had a death threat, honestly.
Dude, I've had hundreds of death threats per day.
No, you don't. You don't get hundreds of death
What are you
threats.
talking about, dude? I have. I'm not joking about this.
What death threats do you get?
Bro, the Frisbee competition is fierce.
Yeah,
hundreds of death threats a day coming out of a particular Latin American country. Because I was public enemy number 1.
Because of your thing. Yeah, okay, fine. Fair enough. But
yeah, I mean, what do you think of these women? I mean, yeah, who gives a fuck? These girls are just like doing it for a little bit of attention. They're probably frustrated. They probably have had a lot of really shitty. Like I know a lot of OnlyFans girls. They get like DM'd with a bunch of shit. Some of them like share that. Usually, it is a little bit of a shaming them or like making fun of them. It probably comes from frustration. It might come from a bit of attention, but like, who gives a fuck? It doesn't matter.
Dude, I think guys have this idea of like girls are just like they get everything they want all the time, and if you actually go into like girls groups, like the equivalent of what this is, but for girls, and then like even you ever see those groups that are like, are we dating the same guy groups?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's those groups and then girls talking. And if you listen to girls talk, they have issues too. They're like, fuck, I like this guy. I don't know if I can keep him. Like what's going on?
Yep.
This girl's, he's probably back with his ex, his baby mama. They have the same problems just in different ways. And like girls don't have it all figured out. And yeah. You don't have to have it all figured out as a guy either.
You know, it's a funny story about are we dating the same guy? I did a video on it a while ago, and I sent my girlfriend in to like infiltrate the group. And someone, because she's in my videos, so someone, this comment made me laugh. It was like, she is his little minion, ban her.
she got discovered. Was she NIGG in the chat, or what was she doing?
She wasn't saying anything, but yeah, she got caught. But I got some good screenshots, so it worked out.
Nice.
Dude, all of my previous assistants become Buddhist monks. I just got a new message. He's like, I'm doing a 1-year commitment here, getting trained in Buddhism, and he's doing it's like spiritual training combined with a mission around AI and technology.
It's an interesting mix.
Yeah,
I don't know. I would never fucking wanna become a Buddhist monk. That seems miserable, honestly.
I think the what it does, it basically sets like you just kind of get rid of all desires basically, so that way you don't really want anything, you're not craving after anything, so every moment that you're in is like, this is enough, there's nothing missing from this moment. I like that aspect of it, but I think it's the best possible life involves both. It involves like, oh, I can be okay with nothing, just sitting in the woods, like being by myself. But I think it also involves like contributing to others, helping society, not just like going around in, like the Buddhist monks, they'll like literally walk around villages and like just ask for food and stuff. That's like a traditional thing. Like, I think it's good to practice spirituality, but I don't think it's like everything. I think the reason why I'm very like, no one just follows me is like, man, Austin's so extreme on this one thing. I think that the things that make you very popular on social media being very extreme, I'm like the exact opposite of being very extreme. I'm like I can see like every perspective, which is almost like a bad thing. I can always find the counter argument.
I mean, you are like a narco-capitalist, so
wow, it's like the devil.
I don't identify with anything. Like, I don't identify with that. I think I like this idea of keeping your identity small because it allows you to be more flexible and not be tied down to anything. Like, I'm not ideologically tied down to fucking shit, bro. Like, if better information comes out, I will pivot.
Okay, fair enough.
Good way to be.
Okay, let's do like 2 more questions.
Meanwhile, you guys are just in that libtard camp.
Nah, I broke with the left really hard.
Team libtard. You broke with the left. What happened? I never heard about this breakup. Are you still recovering from it?
On COVID, yeah. Like, I disagreed with like most of the COVID policies and beliefs that were going around in like 2020. Okay, if a girl reject me and I brush it off like it's cool and move on, can this make me attracted to the next girl who saw? No, I don't think it will make you more attractive, but I think there's something inherently that's gonna either be neutral or work against you if a girl sees you get rejected.
Yeah, I mean, potentially this could work either way. Like, even the girl that rejects you, if you're completely cool with that, sometimes even that builds attraction. So it depends what the rejection looks like, obviously. But if you go up to a girl and you're like, hey, open, and then she's like, ew, not interested or some shit, or she's like, I'm with my friends, and then you're chill about it. You're like, yeah, I completely understand, blah, blah. Or you're like, damn, I like your attitude. That in itself can be a test where she might not realize it's a test. She could actually reject you. But now she's like, damn, if this guy's that confident, there must be something more about him. Also, some situational openers I use is if I get like fucking some attitude from one girl or a group of girls, I'll just turn to the next and be like, can you believe this fucking girl? And then I'll start talking to her. So there's a way you could do this that is beneficial, but usually you're going to get some like negative social proof. But if you just smile and walk off, that like no one's going to know you're rejected anyway. So just act confident.
Yo, Alex, review my Instagram photos. I'm curious, or my Tinder photos. Ah, fuck, is it late fucking up? Should I make it dimmer?
Not an ideal way of going through that.
Why don't you just share them in the chat?
Just text them to me, and I'll.
This is kind of.
It's a little post, but it's good.
I'll turn this brightness down.
It looks like a school photo with you and your dog. That's a nice one.
That's cool.
Boy band.
Yeah.
Hiking.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you think about this photo. I always hated this photo.
I think it makes you look like this was taken a while ago, I'm assuming, because you look super young.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna take it down. I like the idea of like we're pretty bad judges of our own photos. This photo I thought was horrible. I was like, oh fuck, my nose looks crooked. Like you could see my broken nose from Ultimate Frisbee. You could see like I'm sweaty. This is that got a 9.5 on Photo Feeler, and I've had multiple girls I date.
Photo Feeler is irrelevant.
Photo Feeler is awful. Don't ever.
I think it's a decent gauge.
Photo Feeler
it's one of the 3 gauges. Girls, Photo Feeler, and then how many likes you get on it on Instagram.
Yeah.
But dude, I hated this photo. Girls fucking love this photo. They just say it's like, oh, it's a vibe. Feels like you're adventuring or something.
Yeah, like what I notice is
what should I change about my profile, Alex, to get me more pussy?
This will take a minute to cover. Just text me and I'll help you.
Yeah, I think having one of those
there's so many bitches.
A little bit more,
bro.
So
I did this thing.
What your Instagram is, Austen?
What?
So much lag.
Someone's asking what your Instagram is.
Austen Summers. Everything I have is Austen Summers. The website, the Facebook, the Instagram. I literally paid for every fucking URL.
And you
I got it all.
Okay. Dope. All right. I think we covered a lot of shit. Good stuff, boys. Yeah, fun stream. Tomorrow we'll be there. By the way, you're welcome to join for this too, Austen.
Should I put this
we'll
photo
be here for speed dating? Dude, what the fuck? You should be closer to the camel's asshole. That would make it better. But yeah, so tomorrow speed dating, I think most likely it'll happen, right, Marcus?
Yeah, okay. I just got a reply from Tildes, and she said, I'm down. How'd it go? X. All right. So seems like we have another goal. That we'll see. If it ends up with just me, Alex, and one goal, okay, I guess we'll try and make it work. But yeah, we'll hopefully get a couple of goals in. We'll see.
All right, perfect. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Take it easy, y'all.
Peace.